You have to go back 500 days ago to the last time this nationally known giant of the college soccer world was ranked in the top 5. In Wake Forest soccer standards, that is an eternity. Coach Muse, in his 8th season on the sideline at Spry, may just have his deepest, fastest, and dangerous team ever assembled. Week 3 in a Tuesday night non-conference tilt. Deacons welcome in the Big South Winthrop Eagles. Good evening and welcome to Spry Stadium. I'm Ty Collins alongside Kyle Bond. Delighted you guys could join us here on ACC Network. Why could this be Bobby Muse's most talented team? You have the #1 recruiting class last year, #2 recruiting class this year, plus after last match, you bring back Baba Niang.
Yeah, and Coach Muse told us last year that Baba Niang was one of, if not the most powerful players he's ever coached. That's an impressive compliment, but he's not wrong. Baba missed most of his freshman year last year with an injury, but when healthy, he has all the tools. He doesn't just hit the ball with power, he drives forward on the ball with otherworldly acceleration, and he's got the skills to go with it. A huge addition for the Deeks, and he's already off the mark from the penalty spot against UAB.
Yeah, 29 minutes, 1 goal and 1 assist, 3 points. This guy is a huge X factor once on the pitch. We'll probably see him a little later. Now for Winthrop, it's an unmerciful road for this team, and it continues tonight here in Winston-Salem on the campus of Wake Forest.
Yeah, tough test for Coach Ridenauer for their first 5 games against NCAA tournament teams from last year. But the biggest thing they're looking for is a response. They did not play well in their first 2 matches of the year, conceded 5 goals to each of Mercer and Georgia State. Looking for some more mental toughness.
What kind of response will they have? It'll be big upset. It's Wake Forest. It's Winthrop coming up next. And we welcome you back here Tuesday night here in Winston-Salem on the campus of Wake Forest. Spry Stadium, the lights are on. Lights at Spry. It's the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, #4 in the country. The poll just came out just a couple of hours before we had kickoff here. Wake Forest in all gray and Winthrop in all white. Wake Forest does have the black shorts. And Winthrop having up top will be Stefan Sildor. An interesting story about this. You having to try to bring back all those goals from last year, right, which they lost of the transfer portal. So you bring in Stefan Sildor, who is a JUCO transfer, 22 goals at Blinn College, was tied for a school record. So we'll have to watch him, number 9. And Wake Forest also, what they kind of basically how they started against UAB. Kyle, one thing that might be overlooked is this defense, though, for Wake Forest, because we want to talk about exciting how the attack is, but look how stout the defense is. Only allowed 1 goal, and you got players like Tubbs and Prince Mpanza, who just won ACC Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, and, the 1 goal that they conceded against Air Force was a worldie. I mean, it was a stunner. So this defense has been fantastic. They've made a couple of mistakes. It's early, right? Players are rusty, but they have not conceded. Bend, don't break. And everybody makes mistakes. You're never going to have a perfect 270 minutes to start the year, right? So by all standards, they have been fantastic and have worked 3 very, very good performances to this point.
I think I'll take having a stingy defense and then figure out the attack in the beginning of the season any day of the week.
Oh, yeah, early on for sure. And it always takes a little longer for a defense to figure itself out than an offense because there's just so much more communication involved that, we as fans don't always see. So to have the defense clicking like this early on is a huge bonus.
And one thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on is, will Wake Forest immediately start clicking after they find out that they're 4th in the country, taking on a Winthrop team that, let's just say has had some struggles? How do you keep them stuck in?
Yeah, it can be difficult with college kids because they can get excited. Hey, it can go to their heads. Look at us, we're top 5 in the country. But I think Coach Muse has that on lock. He is a even keel guy, and it filters down through the program. You never see him get too excited, and you never see him get too disappointed. So that is a huge leadership factor for this team as they gain some notoriety nationwide.
And this is one more tune-up until they get ready for ACC play. That'll be Saturday right here against NC State. That rivalry, also buddies with Coach Kiefer at NC State. So that'll be a fun one as usual, especially when you get into ACC play. And anything goes. Doesn't matter what kind of start you had. Once ACC play begins, kind of the focal point changes. Is Kojima getting into the center midfield? A little extra touch, gets away. May have been looking for Thomas. And it's cut out, and Winthrop will knock it around with a very young back line. 3 freshmen in that back line, with Mace as the senior, kind of being the big brother watching over them. Number 2, there's Danielson, freshman, number 14.
How about 3 freshmen along the back line for this Winthrop team? A lot of inexperience there in the defensive unit.
And Forms back in his normal position on left outside back.
Great ball.
Second touch up to the middle. Or up through for Thomas. Thomas gets by. Can Thomas score? And he tried to go near stick. And it's blocked away by Sam Jones, who plays keeper tonight for Winthrop. They have gone with Sam Bell. This time they'll go with a different Sam. It's Sam Jones. Colin Thomas, when he gets loose, he is dangerous. Maybe thought about that far stick, but hey, can't fault him. He got through there into the 18, had a couple touches.
Yeah, brilliant move right around Kobe Grant. I mean, it didn't even trouble Colin Thomas to get right around the defender. Unfortunately, the finish wasn't there. Had a couple of different options. Looked a little uncomfortable there one-on-one, but what a move to get around the defender. Those finishes will come as long as you can create the chances, and that link-up play and subsequent bit of skill by Colin Thomas did the job.
Solid tackle by freshman Cade McKenzie there. Wake Forest back in possession, moving to the final third. Here's Suzuki. Prince Mpanza, the defensive player of the week. Now that slipped in. One touch over to Rold Mitchell. He bangs inside the 18. And this one's last touched by a Winthrop Eagle, so it'll be a corner. Rold Mitchell is a pretty big guy, so you'll feel it when he runs into you. It'll be a corner, and trotting over there is the freshman, Cooper Flax, probably the centerpiece of this freshman class, which is, talk about the star-studded freshman class anyway coming in, and you say, okay, Cooper Flax, maybe you'll be the centerpiece, but there's just plenty of talent all around as this one dips. And at least a chance, but it's last touch by Wake Forest, out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick.
And one of the interesting things about Cooper Flax, too, that I think we're seeing here in this game, at least that I'm noticing compared to some of the earlier games for Wake Forest, is that he's been moved back into a slightly deeper role, closer next to Takuma Suzuki rather than further forward. And Jose Kojima has been given really the freedom to roam forward and play a very attacking midfield role. Earlier, we saw Flax and Kojima basically playing together as eights that played off of each other. One went forward, one stayed back. It was kind of a pivot sort of style. But today, so far at least, through the first few minutes, Flax has been held back in a deeper role, and Kojima is way up forward in a really free roaming role up front.
Well, it doesn't matter. You just got to have Kojima on the field. He can play pretty much anywhere. He's the Swiss Army knife. But for Cooper Flax, talk about a player in high school playing or training with NYCFC's first team. That's hard to believe. Just as a little teenager playing soccer up in New York and training with the first team that just won the MLS Cup too. Thomas trying to escape as Williams knocks that one away. Back heel, clever play, but still not quite on the front foot. And possession goes back to Wake Forest here at the midfield. Talk about how deep this Wake Forest team is, Kyle, and they're still without the services of their only ACC preseason player to watch, or ACC preseason team number one, Omar Hernandez. Here's Forbes. Flax, one touch. Rold Mitchell trying to turn. Little heavy touch. Here's Wallant. Wallant's been outstanding, too, after that goal he had against Air Force. You were on the call, Kyle. This is a kid that was recruited as a defender. They move him up as an attacker. It's kind of doing the Forbes role. Remember, Forbes was a defender, and they brought him up to the attack.
Absolutely, and he just has so many good one-on-one skills.
You think maybe gotten away with a handball. Forbes trying to skate by the in line there. And it'll be last touched by Winthrop for another corner for Wake Forest. So the question is capitalization on chances for Wake Forest after they owned UAB this Saturday, only had a 2-0 victory. They felt like they should have won 6-5-0, something like that. So it's something to watch here today, is capitalizing on these chances. Nice snag by Sam Jones, the senior goalkeeper from Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, that was really good command of his box. The header came back in, and it was just too close to the goalkeeper. When that happens, it can be difficult to, as an attacker, now know, okay, I got to send this in. I want to send it to a dangerous area, but it can't get too close.
Rold Mitchell. Old Term plays it back to Suzuki, and Suzuki will continue the switch to Forbes. Forbes looks up, sends this one to the box, and it's headed out by Grant. As you can see the wheels turning on this offense, it's just, can they actually tally a goal? Forbes plays it back to Cole McNally, his first start of 2022. Here in this midweek matchup between the Winthrop Eagles. McNally, of course, was the starter going into last season. Got injured, and then Trace Alford came in, and he couldn't take the starting job away from Trace. He's been playing outstanding, so essentially you have two #1 goalkeepers on this roster. Is again Kajima Thomas across, and it's Rolled Mitchell executing right here in the 35 minutes left in the first half.
What a beautiful goal. You can't draw it up any better than that. Coaches love to see a goal like this where it's just ping, ping, ping. Nobody's stopping you. Beautiful passing, very little resistance, and Rolled Mitchell puts the finishing touches on a beautiful cross from Colin Thomas, who has been fantastic down the right-hand side so far. As you see this beautiful pass here to Thomas to spring him. One-touch cross, one-touch finish into the back of the net, 1-0 lead.
Rolled Mitchell, the right foot, and it makes it 1-0 here in the first 10 minutes of this match. Wake Forest, there's Rolled Mitchell's first goal of the season. The season he had last year was remarkable as a freshman, and finally breaks through the ice and gets his first goal for 2022. He had 5 goals and 2 assists, 2 game winners. A remarkable goal against Virginia Tech, and also what he did against FIU in the second round. I think that was kind of his send-off, like, remember me, number 9, next season, after the points he put up against FIU in the NCAA tournament in the second round. Kajima again providing the press, which he does well. The guy's engine just won't cut off. As Winthrop now will see if they can find an equalizer. Going down early 1-0 on a arduous start of the season for Coach Ridenour.
Yeah, it's a brutal early season stretch. Going to get a lot of testing, a lot of experience, but it's going to be difficult here as it comes at Winthrop yet again.
Kajima, so poised, had a defender coming into his face and didn't look like he was going to flinch at all and move the ball over to his right for Thomas. There's Coach Ridenour. Played his college ball at ODU. His 7th season as the Winthrop head coach. Also was an assistant and came on as the head coach. You talk about a task in front of him after you lose 2 big-time players from last season. Now you got to basically reset, wash away the dry erase board, figure out what you're going to do, almost Moneyball. How can you equal the goals that you lost last season, a team that they end up going to the semifinals in the Big South tournament? So they kind of flirted with some success, and you thought, okay, this is where we can go to the semifinals. We have our top scorers back. We're going to be great. Well, those 2 end up going elsewhere, and then now you have to reboot.
Yeah, it's difficult. The college athletics landscape nowadays is just a totally different animal. You really have to bring in so much talent every year at every position.
Look at this good service ball by Forbes. It somehow spit out right on the far stick and had Thomas with at least an opportunity. You see there's key losses for Winthrop. Brigham Larson transferred to Charlotte, not too far from Winthrop, freshman of the year. And then Ethan Stevenson transferred to Longwood. That's got to hurt because it's a Big South team. And he was the leading scorer in the Golden Boot Award winner for the USL 2 this past summer. I mean, he ran away with the goal tally.
And like I said, in the current college soccer landscape, you really do have to – you can't plan for positions long term, right? You just have to bring talent in wherever the talent is, because you never know. You could lose guys at one place you didn't expect. You could have a glutton of talent at a position you didn't expect. It's really unpredictable. And so at this point, I mean, I don't want to say it makes the job easier, but instead of saying, all right, we've got the midfield covered, we need a right back, we need a strike. No, just bring talent in. Yeah. Find talent wherever it is, you bring it in, and you go, all right, we'll figure it out once we've got the guys here at school. So, it's a difficult job. There's a lot of pressure all the time, and it was made a little extra difficult on Coach Ridenauer this year with some of those unexpected moves.
Coach Ridenauer sees his team down 1-0 after a goal, first goal of the season. And his account for Rold Mitchell to make it 1-0. And Winthrop trying to build something as a step up by Tubbs. And he almost got caught after he tripped up. Here's Rold Mitchell. Flag stays down. Rold with his right foot will roll it. And he draws 3 defenders, so he plays the simple ball back to Suzuki, and Suzuki continues the switch to Wallin.
That was the right move by Rold Mitchell. He was 1-on-5 up front. Didn't have any help because the entire Wake squad had just tracked back to cover a counterattack. So Mitchell did the right thing, recycled possession, and allowed his midfield to figure out what to do with it next. It can be so enticing for a striker. You look around, you've got no help. You go, all right, I guess I'll just go 1-on-5 and see what happens, right? Maybe I can produce a moment of brilliance. The odds are so stacked against you that it shows really good discipline for a striker in that situation to just recycle the ball, filter it back, and hold possession.
Using this right side with Colin Thomas. Escorbano overlaps. Escorbano, of course, missed all last season. He's glad to be back, that outside back position.
He's glad to be back. Wake's glad to have him back, too. I mean, he was such a key part of that team last year and the year before. Losing him really messed with the balance of the squad.
Wallant dancing inside the 18 with a couple of walkovers and just about got past 2 defenders. There's Winthrop. They pinch in. Now they'll use the left flank. Moving up from the outside back position is Aiden Williams. And McKenzie plays it. Some triangle passing here, but completely marked. It's 3v3. And you know as I do, Kyle, soccer, the game of numbers. Here's Rold Mitchell. And he's past 1 defender, sends it one across. It's Kojima! And Kojima makes it 2-0. Kojima, his 2nd goal in 2022. And it's 2-0. Demon Deacons here in the 17th minute.
You can say there are better players on this team than Jose Kojima, but it is hard to find somebody more important to this squad than Jose Kojima. What he does with his flexibility, his versatility, he is just in the perfect place every single time. Rold Mitchell with a great drive forward, unselfish play. He could have taken this himself. He was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, but he found a better shot, and Jose Kojima puts it away for his 2nd goal of the year and Wake's 2nd goal of the day. Beautiful play and an excellent finish by a critical player to this team.
There's just too much space there. When you have Kojima that has no quit, and he's sitting right there at that penalty spot with maybe a radius of 2 yards around him. I mean, that's just too much time for someone like the talented Kojima. And the finish makes it 2-0 early here in the first half. Wake Forest may have come into this match thinking we got to learn how to finish. Well, I'd say that they have had a pretty successful first 20 minutes of this first half.
And now it's on Bobby Muse to figure out how to keep Jose Kojima in this lineup. We just talked a few minutes ago about how Omar Hernandez will eventually be back in this squad, hopefully when he's healthy, and likely take over Jose Kojima's spot at the number 10 role that he's playing here tonight. So now you go, how do I keep my best players on the field? And the way that Kojima is playing right now, he is forcing Bobby Muse's hand. And you think, all right, how do I keep him on the field? Where do I put him? The great part about Jose is he can go anywhere.
Outside back, which that's where he was recruited for. And then, outside attack. Maybe Colin Thomas is switching back and forth between him. And not to mention, when we talked about how deep this team is, now you bring in Chase Oliver. And Chase Oliver is not just your typical guy off the bench. The guy can jump on the field and score goals too. So it's just the wave of attacks that Coach Muse likes to have. He's got it. As Flax sends this one right inside the 6, and Rold Mitchell buries it. It's 2 goals for Rold Mitchell, and the Deacons are running away with this one early.
Turnovers are just killing Winthrop right now, and Wake Forest is ruthless. How about that pass from Cooper Flax on the turnover, just sending it across, and it catches Winthrop off guard yet again. This Wake Forest team is ruthless.
Ruthless, just like this schedule that Winthrop is going through, and that's one of those things. If you're the goalkeeper, you would get frustrated with your defender if you're going to play it out from the back. You also have to be sure that if there's a man coming into press, you have to be their eyes and their ears. So I don't know where the miscommunication is, and a lot of that also goes with the inexperience in that back line. Plus, you're adding a guy in the net that has not played all year.
And Coach Ridenauer told us before the game, he said, hey, we want to play a possession style of game. We have a young team, inexperienced team. We're going to play that possession style game, whether we can do it or not, against teams that are difficult to play against, like Wake Forest, an ACC caliber press. It's a tough task for this team, but he says we're going to play the way I want us to play, and we will learn it eventually. And it's games like this where you go back, you say, all right, where did we make mistakes? If we make a lot of them, that means there's a lot of teachable moments. We go back, we learn from our mistakes, we get better. And so I believe it was one of the coaches we talked to earlier in the season who said, if you're not winning, you're learning. And so Winthrop doing a lot of learning today, and that is okay, given the way that Coach Ridenauer has said, we are going to play a certain style of soccer, and we're going to make it happen eventually. Excellent press here from Winthrop.
That's the way you come back, as Winthrop almost with a chance from Sildor to get back a goal. They want that one back because that was right there in front of McNally. McNally did a good job of stretching out and knocking that one away. Sildor probably was a little bit caught off that he was that close to the net. And it's still 3-0, though. The Deacons well ahead of the Eagles. Here's Chase Oliver as he again cuts through all the traffic. Let's hope to play Rold Mitchell there.
What a
got away from him
by Chase Oliver. Got some oohs and ahs out of the crowd weaving through traffic. But, you go back to the last chance that Winthrop had. You can't make turnovers like this. We just talked about it with Winthrop. You're leaving your goalkeeper on an island with some turnovers deep in your own territory like that. And for Wake Forest, they may be up 3-0 in this game, and it may be a game that they're going to win by multiple goals eventually. At least that's the way the game feels right now. But you make mistakes like that now against Winthrop, you better learn from them, because if you don't, mistakes like that against a team like Clemson, like Notre Dame, other top teams in the ACC, you're going to be punished for them, and you won't have a 3-goal lead up on the scoreboard to make up for it. So those are mistakes that Wake will want to work out now and avoid later on in the season. Can't get comfortable just because you're up 3-0 with 25 minutes to go in the first half.
I'll take learning with a 3-0 lead.
For sure.
And film room later on 2 days from now. But, I get what you're saying, because some of these turnovers that are some of it's careless is going to hurt them and haunt them if they don't figure that out before they jump up in caliber of talent and competition, which Saturday, by the way, NC State will come into town. Cole McNally starting, and you know he wants a shutout after losing his starting spot. So he's going to play about 120%. Oliver wrapped around and brought 2 defenders. It'll be a throw in for the Demon Deacons as some substitutions for both squads are coming in.
Some minutes for Ryan Fessler. Good to see. Spells the ever churning motor Jose Kojima.
As Fessler is another very, very good player that, because of the talented pool that Coach Muse has, he brings them off the bench. And that's just insane. The type of season he had in that spring of 2021. Is Escobar all the way up here in the attacking third. Chase Oliver splitting the defenders. Flax. Chase Oliver to the left, now to the right to Escorbano. Across, second touch, Fessler almost in the back of the net. As Wallet on the rebound. They'll watch it go out of bounds for a corner, and the Deacons won't let up.
Fessler had to deal with not only the Winthrop defense, but also his own man, as Rold Mitchell did his absolute best to get out of the way of that shot. Maybe put Fessler off just a little bit. Wasn't quite able to bury it inside the side netting. Great chance.
We'll take it. Tubbs, Fessler, Wallet, as well as Prince and Ponza inside. And a little shove by Demon Deacon will create a free kick. Sean Green went down, the senior. So a free kick given to the Eagles. Sean Green, the senior from Auckland, New Zealand, actually transferred over from Missouri State. Missouri State, a ranked program. So at least you're bringing some experience there with Sean Green. Last year had 18 starts and 18 appearances, 3 goals and 1 assist. He said Winthrop checked all the boxes when he thought about transferring. Suzuki continues it to the near side with Tubbs. Tubbs creeping up past the midway line. No stop, no quit in this Demon Deacon team. 7 shots, 3 registered as goals. Winthrop at least with 1 shot. They played West Virginia in that exhibition game. Their last exhibition game here at Spry is about 6 minutes left to go in regulation. And West Virginia, number 6 team in the country at that time, only had 2 shots to their name. So Winthrop is ahead of schedule. A little positive. Tubbs wearing the captain armband. Something about Tubbs, once he's on that back line, he just becomes a leader. As Flax to the right. Rold Mitchell. Taken away. And Winthrop trying to figure out what they want to do with it. And looking for some help as Cushing comes up for it. You can see this team just trying to gel. And Coach Ridenauer said that he did see some positive things. He thinks the world of this crew, which is, good to have. It's just frustrating, obviously, when you start off 6 games on the road. I mean, that, and then playing the caliber teams you're playing. But hey, all that matters once you get into Big South play. Now Campbell's ranked in the top 25. High Point's trying to figure some things out. So there's some hope that maybe after this taxing schedule, the beginning of the season, maybe it'll pay off because they'll be so used to the talented teams that they have played. Once they get to Big South, it'll look like they have dropped a tier down. Just under 20 minutes to go in the first half. The Deacons owning this one 3-0. A brace by Rold Mitchell and a goal by Kojima, his second of the year. And put the Demon Deacons most likely out of reach from this Winthrop team. And look who's coming in for the Demon Deacons. And the neon green boots, Baba Niang, as well as Sidney Paris. They played for the USL 2 squad, the Fusion, NC Fusion together. And Sid Vicious, as we called him this summer, is transferred from Navy, playing the outside position when Coach Muse excited about what he will bring to this team after he transferred from Navy, all Patriot League player. And he is quick to get up and down the field. Baba Niang excited to be back too. 29 minutes against UAB. Here's Baba Niang. Through ball to Rold Mitchell. Nice turn. Chase Oliver to the right. Oliver looks at Niang. Will roll it over. Back to Bo Cummins. And Cummins plays it back to Suzuki. Here's the switch to the left side. It's Forbes. Sidney Paris. Plays a simple ball back to the support of Forbes. Cummins with a lot of room over here if they want to use it. They'll keep it on the left side. Suzuki now will check. Inserting ball to Oliver, and Oliver couldn't quite get there. It was a tough ball to get. Possession goes back to Winthrop. A little press here from Chase Oliver. Look at the step by Tubbs. Tubbs coming in hard. And luckily, Cole McNally will come off his line and then clear it. Cole McNally also a part of that NC Fusion team this summer with Baba Niang and Sidney Paris.
Watch the acceleration on Niang.
Here comes Niang. This time he'll play Sidney Paris. Paris with the left. Got it caught in the chamber. And the attack is stamped out.
Wake Forest just playing such unbeatable possessional play right now. I mean, they wing the ball back in the Winthrop half, and then Winthrop can't get the ball back under control until Wake Forest has had an attempt to put the ball through into the danger area. So it's just so difficult as a Winthrop team to play off the ball for this long. Look at that.
Bang! And my goodness, I didn't even see the ball. I just saw after it hit. Baba Niang. Yeah, all we can do is shake your head.
The name of the game is power. Power with the right foot, but power with the acceleration, power on the ball, power on the turn.
Watch this right to your living room. Ready?
I mean, it's just easy
right
as you
foot.
like. And he puts that on frame. It's going into the back of the net.
Mike, our camera guy, right there above the goal, is glad that didn't quite hit him because that might have knocked him down. Another freshman coming in for Wake Forest is another solid recruit. So you got a chance to watch him against Air Force. Is Johannes Eaton Johannes from Springfield, Virginia, who played over across the sea with AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands.
What U.S. national team player played for AZ Alkmaar, Ty?
You know, you're going to beat me on this one. I don't keep up with the offside call. I don't keep up with that part of
You know him. One Josie Altidore.
You love some Josie Altidore.
Played for AZ Alkmaar for a while before he made his move to Sunderland.
So
Which
there
did not go
before
so well.
there, where he went there, then Ursula, then Sunderland. Is that what you said?
I believe he went from
We'll check our
AZ
IT.
to Sunderland.
Okay.
Do some fact checking.
Low driven ball, and Tubbs about flicked that on and over the goalkeeper, Sam Jones.
Yeah, he was at AZ for 2 years, played very well, and then moved to Sunderland, where he did not play very well.
So Niang will do the honors of taking this corner with his right, so it will be an in-swinger, and Ponza is down inside the 18 as he tries to shake clear. Here it comes as it bends. A whiff there on a volley as the Deacons tried to keep it coming, but that ball will get out, and Bo Cummins will be challenged and still gets it up to Chase Oliver. Good challenge too, though. That's Ben Goodman, the senior, chasing Bo Cummins down. 12.5 left to go in the first half. 11 shots for the Demon Deacons, 3 goals, 7 corners. Winthrop with just 1 shot. This will be a free kick to Winthrop. So Johannes, the 4-star prospect from Top Drawer Soccer, number 6. Here's Niang. Niang outside of his boot. Kennedy, a little too heavy out in front, and coming out of his line or off his line is Sam Jones, the keeper, which was a smart move on his part.
Sure was, and I was afraid when he started coming out because I thought he was going to get there too late, but he read it correctly, got there first, cleaned up the mess. That's very, very good goalkeeping.
The Deacons also have a Sam Jones on their roster, a part of this freshman class ranked number 2 in the nation. We might get a chance to see him later on, but also highly recruited. Tell me if you heard that story before. Looks like some rain is moving this way, Kyle, so we might see some participation.
The water cycle on display.
Cummins into the middle to Kennedy. Kennedy gets away, takes 1 shot with the left, and it's tackled. Great tackle, by the way, by Winthrop's defense to keep that one from testing Sam Jones.
Danielson, I want to say. Excellent tackle.
Still Deacons' relentless attack inside the 18, just outside. Is Sidney Paris wants a handball.
No, I think that went right into the face.
Or a face ball.
Imagine that. You're defending almost the entire first half. There's 10 minutes to go into the break, down 3-0. Oh, and here's a cross to the face.
So here's Sam Jones for Wake Forest against Sam Jones, the keeper for Winthrop. Another corner. Baba Niang. High, bending, header. Jones comes out. Kennedy Jones fighting off the defenders, still had possession and then got hit late and goes down. It'll be a free kick in a very dangerous spot. See if the Deacons get this into play quickly. Here's Alec Kennison with a blast. Alec Kennison, freshman this season. So I think we have the entire freshman class on the pitch for Coach Muse. There's Cummins, the sophomore. Fessler looked at Paris. Johannes. Paris Slides it across. Here's Garino. Garino. And the rebound put in by Julian Kennedy. And will it be confirmed? No flag up. Kyle says yes, and it's 4-0.
Ty, you know what made that goal? You got to go all the way back to the Johannes pass. Unbelievable through ball that took both the midfield and the defense out of the play, right through the middle to Paris. The great square by Paris. Garino stays with it. Paris gets his head on it, and then Kennedy applies the finish. That is excellent team play up front. Staying with the chance despite all those deflections, but what a pass.
Julian Kennedy with his first goal of 2022. Remember, he had the hat trick last season, first time since Okoli did it on the same date. That's insane. On the same date in 2012, Julian Kennedy in 2021 gets a hat trick. Kennedy, a part of the #1 recruiting class last season. Sam Jones sends this one up line. So now, unfortunately for Coach Ridenauer, Bobby Muse goes to his bench, which is his freshman, and they're going to use this as a chance to perform for him to try to get more PT. So there's no let up.
And it's important because even if they aren't able to earn more playing time in the future this season, these minutes serve as just that.
Right. So Sam Jones, most likely the intern for Prince and Ponza. Baba Niang on his way into the 18. That angle closed down quickly. 7.5 to go. And wow, last touched by a Winthrop Eagles. So Baba Niang trots over to that far flag and will take a corner. Whip it in with a right foot unless they play the short option, which they won't. Sam Jones comes in as well as Garrison Tubbs. That's some targets for you because Tubbs can get up and hammer it down. This one's up and hammered down, but not quite on the forehead. And it will be another corner kick for Wake Forest.
How about Jones getting up for that? What a leap.
And he is not skinny. He's pretty
either.
big for a freshman. This be a corner for Wake Forest on the near flag with Sidney Paris taking it with his left foot, hooking it, far stick. Baba Niang, second touch, third touch, hits it with his left. Yanis. Baba Niang into traffic, completely moves it over to the left. And Wake Forest trying to reset the attack to keep it coming. They've kept it down here in the final third. Majority of this first half. Here's a shot. I believe that was Fessler, and Fessler can sizzle one from distance. Deacons, no let up. Winthrop begging for mercy is Baba Niang. Now close to the byline, waiting or inviting the defender to come by, and he flew by one. And the help came over to clear it, goes out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick yet again for the Demon Deacons.
That's a brilliant save there from Jones. I mean, I don't know if that was meant to be a shot. It looked like maybe a curling ball that was supposed to be destined for a Wake Forest head, but what a save to keep that one out.
Another corner, Baba Niang. Right foot, hooked in, cleared out. Yanis will track it down. Niang again into space. Paris to his right. And Niang got tripped up, and we got a player down, which is a Winthrop player. The Deacons continue to play on. Not sure who the defender that went down. There is no quit in Baba Niang. It looks like it will be it'll be 29 for McKenzie for Winthrop. And Wake Forest also with the subs. Sorry, partner. As Mencia coming in. A freshman last year. Hopefully the 29 for Winthrop, Cade McKenzie, will be all right.
Looks like Niang will be coming off from Mencia as well, just to keep him fresh. Coming off a long-term injury, you want to bring him back slowly.
McKenzie from Gilbert, Arizona. Sometimes he'll play the 4 or 5 positions across the field. McKenzie with a little knock. Hopefully he'll be okay. Baba Niang doesn't have any other speed but 100 miles an hour. And we saw that this summer too, because playing in the USL2, you'd think maybe there'd be a let-off just because, okay, it's USL2 game, this summer ball, you kind of just want to keep with the touch, keep yourself fresh. No. Kyle, you saw it. Baba just wouldn't let up. And then he's going up against his teammate, Bo Cummins, who was against him in one of the matches, and he went 100%, which I'm sure had Coach Muse cringing because they both collide in the center of the midfield. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but I kind of laughed at it after the match with Bo and Baba saying, you guys go 110%. You guys, do you ever have a key like Kaká that we're on the same team in college? Like, don't go 100%. As Bo Cummins goes sky high to head it. Wake Forest on the quick reset with 3.5 left to go in the first half.
How about, want to give a shout out here, Ben Goodman of Winthrop with the beanie on. Love that.
Yes.
Great look. Playing on the left wing, number 20. Bottom right of your screen right now. Love it.
And the Deacons with the fluorescent cleats, which I love. I have to wear them because I can't find my feet, so I need something to become bright when I look down. Fessler back to Tubbs.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the orange boots that Eitan Johannes is wearing right now.
I like anything that's just really bright and obnoxious. Oh, I got you. Syracuse alum. I got you. Mafia. The Syracuse Mafia.
We're everywhere.
At the touchline, Bo Cummins. Second touch. And Sidney Paris, one extra touch, lost it. As the clock ticks down to just about 2:15. And here's Oscar Sears coming in off the bench. Oscar Sears with probably the goal of the year so far. That howler, as Tubbs goes out, you were on the call. I mean, taking a shot from that distance and just missiling it through, basically through the net is amazing.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder those how the net keeps them in, right? And it was great too, because Air Force had scored an incredible goal earlier in the game. Just matching it 1-for-1.
A lot of good goals for you to see in the call, Kyle.
I'll take it.
Yeah, got a lot of goals here so far in the first half for the old gold and black. Just moved up to 4th in the rankings. Of course, a lot of representation by the ACC, again in the top 25. But we're used to that on the women's side and on the men's side. Here's Kinnison. Kinnison with a big motor too. He won't stop, goes up and down the field. freshman.
Interesting that he's playing at center back right now, as he's a more natural outside back. But Coach Muse getting some players at different positions just to see what he's got.
An attempt to clip that one up and over. 10 seconds remaining. 4 goals in the first half off of 18 shots, maybe one more, as Mancia just skittered that right of the frame. The Deacons' relentless attack started with Rold Mitchell, his first goal of the season. Kajima gets his second. Rold Mitchell says, I want one more. And his 7th career goal in the 19th minute, he adds a brace to his tally in this one.
For a wonderful goal. I'm going to continue to play that team mentality, and that is how I will impress the coach. So these players know what they're up against. This game is 0-0 right now in their minds. The score could be 12-0, and it's going to be 0-0 in their minds because they know, hey, I'm going to impress. I want to earn more minutes. And even the starters, as we get the second half underway, you know, some starters who may be in, they want to know, hey, I'm not going to let the guy behind me take my minutes, right? This is a really deep Wake Forest team. There's a ton of talent. The freshman class is searching for minutes. The starters go, I don't want that to happen. I want my time on the field. So there's plenty of motivation here.
And they will pride themselves. Wake Forest will pride themselves on a shutout. So that's going to be one of the big goals. I can recall a couple years ago they dominated ETSU. ETSU got 2 quick goals, and it seemed like Wake Forest lost at the end of the game. They were so upset that they lost their shutout. And I kind of went over to Coach Muse and said, what are they down about? Well, they're down because they allowed 2 goals, and it was 5-2 rather than 5-0. That's just the type of perfection they roll with. As Carino goes down. Other scores just right up the street from here. UNCG, congratulations. They are ranked in the top 25, taking on a Big South opponent. And High Point, also a local team. And it's 2-1 at halftime up there at UNCG. Lots of football being played on this Tuesday. Wake Forest hosting Big South Winthrop, and ahead 4-0 on 18 shots. Maybe Fessler might have number 19. He will take it with his right, and he blasts it, and it's just punched away. Fast Fessler can send it. It's knocked away by Sam Jones, the keeper, and a quick corner kick by Wake Forest. Wallent sends it. Far stick. Tubbs had a foot on it. Deacon still in possession. Cummins. And flag is up on an offside goal.
What a excellent double save by Jones, who is having an excellent match. You would never know it because of the 4-0 score, but a really, really good save on the initial free kick by Fessler. Fessler knows he'll want to get that up more towards the corner in order to be able to find the back of the net on that, but it was a good delivery, required a very good save. Jones was up for it. And then on the corner, there were about 3 gray shirts there at the far post to meet that cross from Wallent on the short corner. And a point-blank save by Jones. Excellent job. He's had a very good game.
Cole McNally, first start of 2022. Playing his normal role, very loud and in charge in between the pipes. Just solid number 2 goalkeeper. There he is, highly recruited too, and lost the position, or the starting position, to Trace Alphen, but as we mentioned before, it's basically 2 starters on your team. It's a nice luxury to have. Cole McNally went on that trip across the pond. And the Deacons really shocked some teams over there. Brentford was one of them. And the story is, we're talking to Coach Muse. He said Brentford was well known, and you might know this too, Kyle, that Brentford well known as far as their academy, that they were a hard team to beat. And they were beating teams because that was a level that they didn't have. That was the only one level they would use, so they had a lot of talented players on that academy team. So Brentford thought, okay, this could be an easy match between Wake Forest. And as well as Coach Muse had a meeting with the head of Nottingham Forest, who has connection with the United States. And he said, we got Brentford. And he looked at him and said, ooh. He said, what do you mean? It's Brentford. He says, nah, this team's good. Like, they've been beating teams like 6-0, 7-0. So, of course, Coach Muse, in his ways, he got real nervous and then kind of freaked out a little bit. Went back to his usual ways of preparing and worrying he was going to get embarrassed. Well, they didn't. They embarrassed Brentford and shocked the entire fans, or all the fans that were there, where I think they stopped posting social media updates. That's how embarrassing. A team from the United States comes over, a college team, and led by Coach Muse, and just ran havoc against some of these academy teams, which it's a nice thing to have. And Fessler right there on the ball had a viral video of his firecracker he hit, which hopefully maybe we'll have in our next broadcast against NC State. But apparently it was well received by other fans across the pond and all the soccer fans around. Maybe we'll find footage of that. But the Deacons with a successful trip over to England. Got a chance to see Man City, Man United, Liverpool. Talked to Jack Harrison, who was here on this pitch in 2015, a gift from Coach Vidovich. Jack Harrison decided to play the avenue of, let's go over to the States, do well in college, and may perhaps get a pro contract or drafted into the MLS and then see where you can go from there. Well, he did that. He was Rookie of the Year, NYCFC, and immediately went back over to his home country in England. Now a star for Leeds United. Clipped into the box over the head of Wallant and out of bounds. But that's remarkable to have someone that donned the jersey of the old gold and black that is making headlines every weekend for Leeds United, a well-known, storied club over there.
And it really does make perfect sense, too. You look at the way that Leeds United play now under Jesse Marsch, incredibly high press. He is recruited towards that system, and Jack Harrison fits perfectly into that system. Hard worker, just like this entire Wake Forest program, constant pressure. Some of the top players in the Premier League in pressures per 90 minutes right now are Brendan Aronson and Tyler Adams, the two Americans that Jesse Marsch brought over to Leeds this year. So Jack fits perfectly into that system, and it's a testament to this Wake Forest program that they're able to produce players like that.
Dawn, the number 22, and was the number 1 draft pick of the MLS draft. Now, do you know another Demon Deacon that was a number 1 pick in the professional ranks? Tim Duncan. I think he did pretty well, though. He wore number 21. Mr. Fundamental. Early goings, early doors of the second half of the rain coming down. It's finally a corner for Winthrop on the far flag. As Cummins, that was Wallant that got way up in the air to knock that one away with his head. Thomas trying to clear it. You see the corner disparity, 12-1.
And that's just indicative of how this game has gone. It's been a totally dominant possessional and attacking performance by Wake Forest. Yet to find the back of the goal here in the second half, but it's possessionally so dominant.
Wallant still in. Started long Service ball across. There's a switch over to the right side. Garino in the middle. DePaul leading Notre Dame. That's just it. Sears keeps the switch back to the right side with Thomas. Fessler. You just see this orchestrating as the Demon Deacons go from left to right. Here's Garino. Thomas, heavy touch. Was able to get it back. Cummins creeping all the way up, and Suzuki having just to push that one all the way back to McNally. There's Forbes. I want to ask Forbes sometimes if he gets confused what role he's in. I mean, I know he's used to playing on the outside back position, but he spent so much time on the outside winger last season, the year before. Sometimes I would tell my center back, hey, be sure to tell me that I'm playing defenses. Oscar Sears right outside of the 18, scooting over the half circle. And a foul will be called on Winthrop and a free kick. Will this be Fessler taking it?
You know what, Ty? That's really good refereeing and really good play by Oscar Sears, because he was fouled on the initial challenge. Sears went down on the second challenge, but I didn't see much of a foul there. But the referee tried to play advantage, and Sears tried to continue going. I really respect that when a player doesn't just go down at every little piece of contact. He tried to stay up, he tried to play through, couldn't, and then the referee rewarded him rather than punishing him for trying to stay on his feet.
So Sears with a right will take it, dipping and just hit the bar.
Well, if you put that effort from Oscar Sears and the effort earlier from Ryan Fessler together, you've produced a goal. Fessler just didn't get his high enough towards the corner, and then Sears put his just inches above the crossbar, pinged the top of the woodwork. Put those two efforts together, and you've got yourself a goal. Those are the fine margins in this game.
And you see Sears and Fessler, both non-starters. Just baffles me. Sometimes I wonder if you're Coach Muse, you look down on the bench and say, let me find a way to get you in. It's Thomas skipping into the 18, close to the 6, and it's gobbled up by Sam Jones, the keeper for Winthrop, to keep it 4-0. 21 shots for the Demon Deacons, still just 1 for Winthrop.
Ty, I still can't believe that delivery from Leo Garino. Oh, my goodness. I think he put it through his own legs or a back heel, something. Whatever it was stunning. Thomas nearly able to put it in the back of the net.
We've seen some stunning long passes that have broke lines and have kept coming, that just have pierced through the defense and landed on the foot of a Wake Forest player. Said Ponza going for the header there, and see if Winthrop can create something to at least maybe get some confidence, trailing 4-0. That's one way to do it. As a bending ball, and out comes big Cole McNally and says, I'm going to keep this sheet clean. (4-0). No goals in the second half. There's lots of fireworks in the first half offensively for this Demon Deacon team. A team that had struggled to finish. Well, they have finished tonight in the first half. Lays it off. Fessler to the right. Fessler right outside of the 18. Lays it over to Thomas. Thomas will just keep it in. Plays Sears. Sears draws the double team and then plays it back. Here comes Wake Forest recycling. Suzuki calls for it. They're going to keep it going to the left of Forbes. Forbes looking for that probing pass to Garino. Just have the two safeties, if you will, with Tubbs and Prince Mpanza right there at the halfway line. Here's Suzuki. On a platter right for his right foot, and it's blocked away. Suzuki is not used to scoring. Good turn by Sears. Lost his footing, and the referee says he was tripped up. So a free kick awarded to the Demon Deacons. They play it quickly. Sears, the switch to the right to Thomas. Sears stays just inside of the 18. Forbes backing up now. He'll make his run to the left. Forbes keeps it in play, sends it across, looking for Garino, and it's cut out by Winthrop.
Just continuing to poke and prod at that 6-yard box. Crosses coming in. Deliveries from deep. One-on-one dribbles. Wake Forest just doing everything they can to breach this Winthrop defense again.
So Sears takes the corner. Here's Wallen. Wallen bending, and Cummins heard the starter pistol, was on his way, but that ball had a little too much weight on it. Hard for him to track down even with his speed. Fessler. Sears. Sears, Forbes, plenty of space. Forbes with the left. Oh! And Oscar Sears getting creative. Tried to meg one of the defenders, but wasn't quite successful, and then went down trying to see if he could draw the penalty. Thomas, Garino. Wallen making his run near stick. He'll have to wait. Cummins. Here's Thomas again on the right side. 1v1. Completely gets swallowed, but still with a ball. Lifted in the air looking for Wallen. And it's cut out as the Winthrop defense eyed that one as soon as it released off the foot on the right side. And Ponza steps. Forbes. Wallen, does he keep it in play? He does. Driven on the ground, Fessler poking it, looking for Garino. And the Deacons continue to become architects on their attack here in the second half, but with no goals to show for it, still leading comfortably 4-0. 22 shots for this Demon Deacon team. So if this stays a shutout, the Demon Deacons will have gone 4 games. UCF, Air Force, UAB, and now Winthrop just allowing 1 goal. And as you mentioned, Kyle, that was a pretty nice goal.
Sure was.
I'm a loss for words. It sure was. Escribano back in. Tubbs getting a little bit pressure from Sildor. And Deacons just kind of having fun with Winthrop playing keep away. When I asked Bobby about this team compared to other teams, you always kind of want to see what the coach would say. He says this team, ironically, is a little bit more closer than other teams he's had. He said they had a meeting. This was right before the start of the season where they had dinner and then they're kind of hanging around. and he had to force them to leave because they wouldn't leave.
Go home.
Just go home.
No, that's great, though. That's a great sign that these guys like each other, that, you know, they're together.
And Aiden Williams, how about that? Quietly comes around on the right side, sneaks in, and ends the shutout push by this Demon Deacon team. Aiden Williams, the defender freshman from Massachusetts, comes out of nowhere, gets by Forbes, sends it with the left foot, and look at that, hit the post and in.
Yeah.
Pardon me, at the bar and in.
And unfortunately, you know, Jelani Forbes gets beat there, and it leaves the defense and the goalkeeper kind of on an island. Beautiful shot, beautiful effort, excellent ball just into the top left corner. Nothing that McNally could have done about it.
Second goal for Aiden Williams this season. Freshman from Alford, Mass, came from South Kent, a school known to produce soccer talent. Ima Tumasi from Wake Forest came from the Kent School in that same area. And that may have given some life back to this Winthrop team.
And, you know, even if it doesn't get them back in the game, that's something they can take home with them, right? You got a goal, breach this Wake Forest defense, excellent finish.
Look at that turn by Sears, puts it on the ground, and it's smothered by Sam Jones.
Oscar Sears has been excellent in that attacking third outside the top of the 18-yard box. He's weaving his way around defenders. He's done that this entire second half, and it has been very, very impressive. He's one of those guys that looks to be really earning some minutes down the road.
Sure has. God, he's one of those players that have leaped up another couple steps in this early part of the 2022 season. It has definitely turned my head. Sears, who had the ability coming in, a recruit from Sweden, but he seems to be a lot more comfortable and even cocky with the ball, which is good. That's what you want from a center midfielder. As Forbes gets it, brings it down, trying to get it to his left foot. Good defense by the goal scorer, Aiden Williams.
Yeah, excellent tackle there to prevent that cross.
Aiden Williams, 2 goals on the season, had an equalizer against Mercer. Mercer was the last team of 2021 to play on this pitch for the NCAA tournament before Wake Forest went down to Florida. The winners of the SoCon is Sidney Paris fighting for possession, or position, pardon me, and a whistle blown.
Bobby Muse continuing to mix and match here with the big lead. Chase Oliver going to come on for Vlad Willent. So he'll get a look at Chase on the left. Oliver usually a right-sided winger. Just trying to find out what he's got, who plays where. You know what, Ty? This Winthrop team looks a little energized after that goal.
That'll do it. Plus the rain coming down will wake you up a little bit too.
Yep.
Now this series, interesting enough, this is the first time Wake has faced Winthrop in the Bobby Muse era. It's third in program history. And Demon Deacons are 2-0-0 all time against the Eagles. And the most recent showdown came in 2011. Coach Vidovich, of course, was the head coach. Winthrop, who used to be the toast of the Big South, going through some growing pains a little bit, trying to get back to where they used to be. Wallen trying to time his run. Rolled Mitchell, flag up. Just went a little too prematurely. The Deacons, of course, will return home Saturday against NC State, the first ACC match, which I'm sure that is on the mind of Coach Moose as he constantly brings in personnel. Cooper Flax back in. Chase Oliver back in. Coach Muse has used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players off the bench in this one so far.
Bama Niang about to come back on as well.
Touch pass up ahead to Sidney Paris. Oscar Sears couldn't quite get the laces on that one. And it's driven low. Not too hopper. Right to the chest of Jones. Chuck Dom in, Sildor's out. New look, the apex of the attack at least. Flag down, Cooper Flax. Eyes up on Sam Jones and just missed it left.
Boy, that was really close to a 5th goal for Wake Forest, and Sam Jones was real casual about letting that ball just go right by. I mean, if he knew it was wide, then he knew it was wide, but he acted like that was about 15 feet wide of the post when it was about 2 inches wide of the post. But good command and feel of his penalty area. Just a little casual. Real good job by Cooper Flax. That was a very tight angle, difficult chance there. Well done to even come that close.
25 shots now for Wake Forest, 2 for Winthrop, and the score 4-1. Deacons scoreless in the second half, but have had multiple opportunities. Oliver rolls it back to Forbes. Baba Niang in the center. Now we'll get it. Sidney Paris on the far side. Paris into the 18, whipping it with his left foot. Here's a shot from Flax. And just can't have the weight on it to get past Sam Jones in net.
How about you mentioned the closeness of this team, Ty, and the relationships that they have. Cooper Flax, all Baba Niang had to say was, hey, man, I was there. That was my shot. Cooper turned around and said, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were there. They had their moment, and now it's over, and you get back to playing. So those are the kind of things that they happen now, and you get better, and then in a month, Baba will say, I got it. Cooper lets it go, and then you've got that powerful right Baba Niang foot blasting a howitzer into the back of the net. So these are the times to get those kinks out, and you see the chemistry on the field. All it takes is, hey, I was there. Oops, sorry, cool. And now you've improved as a team.
Defensively for Winthrop, Kyle, check this out. Sam Jones has 9 saves tonight so far. We still got 18 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's been tested in that net for sure. Not all of them have been difficult.
Right.
You know, especially here in the second half, they've been some low, scuffed shots that are probably at least slightly down to the weather at the moment. Difficult to lift the ball in the air when it's slippery and wet like this out in the middle of the rain. But they have certainly racked up the chances, have Wake Forest, and it has put the Winthrop goalkeeper under a lot of pressure. He's been very good. He's made a couple of great saves. Made the one on the Fessler free kick, and then right after that on the corner, great double save. He had a couple in the first half. It's been very good.
Well, Wake Forest's Sam Jones is back in, freshman from Portsmouth, Virginia, playing with the Philadelphia Union 2. Also got call up on the U17 USYNT team. Was the only college player selected this past May to represent the United States under 19 men's national team. There's a couple minutes here tonight in this midweek clash between the Winthrop Eagles. Most likely studying under the guidance of the two center backs with Prince Impanza and Garrison Tubbs. There's Alec Kinnison coming in.
How about Kojima coming in as well, the Swiss Army knife? We talked about how many positions he can play. He's going to slot into the defensive midfield role now with Suzuki coming off. So check that box off on your which position has Jose Kojima played tonight bingo card.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if you saw him as a goalkeeper at this point. But
I think that was the joke last year, that he was the emergency goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I don't think that actually – I think you'd have to yell at him a couple of times, because I feel like he would be off his line for a lot of the time, wanting to get involved in the action. Jones to Kinnison. Kinnison lays it off, or decides to not play it, and lets Oliver get it. There's Flax. Lifts this one high. Rolled Mitchell is just offside. The offside position.
Yeah, if there's been one thing that Rolled Mitchell will want to improve over the course of the year, it's the timing of his runs, and that comes with chemistry, right? Because offside, Rolled Mitchell gets flagged, right? He's the one that officially goes in the book as having drawn the offside, but it also has a lot to do with when the pass is delivered, right? You can make a well-timed run, and the pass is just a half second too late. Flag goes up. So it's a timing thing, but Mitchell's been flagged a good amount here to start this season. It'll be something he wants to learn. What a great turn by Paris to win that foul.
Paris coming in a 50-50 ball, and the turn, but then got upended. Deacons playing the short ball. Still without a goal in the second half. If you're going to score from halves, Winthrop has the lead 1-0 in the second 45. Kinnison. Back to McNally. The Deeks continue to knock it around from the back, to build from the back to the center, and then off to the attacking third. Flax is taken down. 13.5 to go. Deacons with a 4-1 lead. Went into half with a 4-0 lead.
Now the Deeks have to be very, very focused, Ty, on obviously you want to see out the final 13 minutes here without conceding, maybe grab another goal, impress, because Winthrop is leading the second half right now, and I'm sure Coach Muse will have an eye on that. But the most important thing here in significant precipitation in the final 13 minutes of a game that's relatively wrapped up is to stay healthy. And while these players will want to impress, health is the #1 thing.
Niang to Oliver. Oliver cuts it back to the left, and that's a difficult angle with that left foot. Hit the side netting, but not the side net you want.
I mean, we have to say, Ty, on the whole, Winthrop have been far, far better defensively in this second half. They've pressed better. They've put Wake on-ball attackers under a lot of pressure. The Deeks have struggled to deal with it at times. And whenever Wake Forest attackers have had chances, they've been of low quality. So a lot of tight angle efforts, a lot of shots from deep. And any ball into the box, like a cross or a corner, has been hotly contested. So all the credit to Coach Ridenauer and how they have organized this Winthrop defense in the second half, especially after, trailing 4-0 at halftime. That can be demoralizing. And this team has come out in the second half. They've competed, and they've put forth a very, very good effort against a Wake team that seemed to smell blood in the water at times.
It's very accurate because they still have a lot of fight left in them. And you can see the confidence, too, by their goalkeeper, who gets his first appearance of 2022 with Sam Jones, the senior from Savannah, Georgia. 9 saves, sitting just, one save shy of 10, double figures. Baba Niang will use the speed of Oliver, but Oliver can't quite get there in time. The Deacons out shooting their opponent for the year coming into this one, about 15 shots to 8. This one, they very well will hit 30. As Sidney Paris falls out of bounds. Quick throw in to Rold Mitchell. He was under the impression that Niang was going to get it. And Winthrop, you can see, he's slowly but surely growing confidence. Rold Mitchell on the right. Niang will make his run. And Rold Mitchell on to get by on that right side and was denied. Looks like we'll have a player down for Winthrop, who is Bryant Jimenez Pierce. NC State coming into town on Saturday. State at 2-0-1. You're supposed to play yesterday against Radford. That was postponed. Tied to Mercer 1-1. Beat Wofford 4-0. Beat Loyola Maryland 2-0. Only had one exhibition game against Queens University, who have just now moved to the D1 ranks. So they'll have some rest. Their last match was on Friday, September 2nd, because yesterday their match against Radford was postponed due to rain. Coach Kiefer back in Winston-Salem, taking on his good friend Bobby Muse. Sidney Paris. Oh my goodness, Rold Mitchell tried to click that up and bang it as a bicycle kick. He tried to place it up with one foot and then hit it with the other foot. And maybe the wet pitch just didn't allow him to complete the mission. Under 9 minutes to go, 4-1.
Ty, a couple of other games keeping an eye on, as we spoke about earlier. Kentucky back in front of Louisville 2-1. Goal right out of halftime.
Wow.
In the 46th minute. And then Notre Dame still trailing to DePaul 1-0.
Notre Dame had a lot of players leave their graduation last season. UNCG now leading 3-1. I'm not sure if you mentioned that score update. It's up the street on I-40. 8 minutes here, 4-1. Winthrop with some new life. Trailing by 3, no longer 4 with a goal off their second shot of the night. Put in by Aiden Williams. Here is Chase Oliver slotting it. Flax. One extra touch. Flax getting with another chance, and it just about rolled away from the reach on a slow roll from Sam Jones. Flax, just one extra touch, and that's going to happen too when you're a freshman. You just want to make it just a little bit more perfect. It was also deflected, so that was the reason for the misjudgment from Sam Jones, the keeper for Winthrop. Another corner for the Demon Deacons. Johannes comes back in. Corner here on this near flagged by Baba Niang with a right foot. See if they can capitalize. Bounced right in front of the 6 mark. I don't think a single Wake Forest player touched it. Kinnison plays it back to the support to Cummins. He wants it right back. And Johannes sends it to McNally. 6:44. You can see that the Wake Forest really wants that 5th goal. And they can feel a little bit more confident after this final whistle is blown. Hard to believe once they put up 4 goals in the first half, but they would like a goal in the second half. Is Baba Niang the one to do it? Spitting out in front for Rold Mitchell. Rold Mitchell goes down, and the point to the spot will give Wake Forest a PK. They got a PK against UAB after UAB could not keep up with Baba Niang. And Baba Niang with the beautiful ball through the middle for Rold Mitchell, and Winthrop cannot keep up with Rold Mitchell.
One of the easier calls the referee will make. Just a late tackle, excellent through ball from Niang, and then Mitchell latched on and sent to ground.
So Rold Mitchell here for a PK, a chance for a hat trick to match his buddy Julian Kennedy, which he had last season. Here it is, and he's successful. Rold Mitchell finally breaking through in his account for 2022, and he does it in a major way. A hat trick for Mr. Mitchell has the Demon Deacons leading 5-1, back to a 4-goal lead.
And that's great for this team. They've worked really, really hard to find the back of the net here in the second half after 4 in the first half. You want to prove it's not a fluke. You want to prove that, hey, we can do it again here in this second half, and well earned. They've worked very, very hard in the attacking third to find a second half goal.
So 2 seasons back to back, we have witnessed a hat trick after 2012, almost 10 years of no hat trick. The Deacons have 3 goals performance by Julian Kennedy last season and 3 goals for Rold Mitchell in 2022. And speaking of which, Julian Kennedy is in for Rold Mitchell. Under 6 to go, the Deacons with 30 shots, 5 goals, and a 4-goal lead. And Winthrop can go away with their head up high here in the second half because, as you mentioned, defensively they've been really on their game. And if they only allowed 1 goal in the second half, and that was by a PK, I would say that's a pretty successful second half after spotting your opponent 4 goals in the first. Just under 5 to go. Deacons will now get 10 in a row here on their home pitch. Dating back to, of course, last season. Unless some miracle, Winthrop can knock in 4 goals in 4.5 minutes.
I'm going to say unlikely, Ty.
Let's see what you've won. You won. Here's a free kick. Baba Niang about 10 yards out, clipped up into the box. And that's the right ball you want to play. You want to have everybody rushing on. Of course, put that right there so you bait the goalie to come out. Maybe just a little off on the left, but it's kind of the ball you want, especially if you have some height in. Winthrop has height, so not a bad set piece. Too bad they couldn't finish. Under 4. Jones. Look at that one. Breaking lines on the floor. Here's Escobar. Dinkabe is in. Kinnison. I think Kinnison wanted to go to the corner, but I don't think Escorbano or Johannes was aware that was the run he was going to make. Winthrop. Numbers clearly on the advantage of Wake Forest. A failed clearance gives Winthrop the ball right outside of the 18. It'll be a free kick with just under 3 to go. This has caused Wake Forest problems in the past. And some nervy moments against UAB. So Winthrop, at least another opportunity to at least grab another goal back.
Very interested to see what Winthrop can produce here. They haven't had too many set-piece opportunities.
Guido will take it. South Carolina transfer, also played 1 year Marquette. He will take it with his right foot. He sent that one hard on the ground, and it was blocked by the wall. He got it again, and blocked by the Wake Forest Demon Deacon defender, so it'll be a corner kick. And apparently we have an
visitors.
alien crustacean inside of our booth.
We have
I've never
visitors.
seen a bug that looked like this. This one is an outswinger, and that hit the head, but not quite connected the way you want it. That one thing that was Sean Green, who rose high in the air to bang it with his forehead. Kyle, did you get rid of the bug? Whatever
care
that
of
was.
it.
I'd like to find out what it was.
We've sent it out the airlock.
It literally looked like something Metroid would have shot down. I don't know where it went. Yeah, our producer wants to see it, but what'd you do with it? You take it home?
Oh no, it's gone.
He flicked it on the guy in front of us. I went to a Wake Forest soccer game, and all I got was this bug on my head.
And 5 goals.
And 5 goals. Mencia trying to escape. Down to 1 minute. The Deacons may have got 1 goal in the second half. A dominant first half performance. Oh, a chance for Winthrop. Just about made it 5-2. A rip that just about got away from McNally. What a hit. And that one's Patrick Bramlett, a freshman from Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Well, there's 30 seconds left in this game, Ty. Winthrop down 5-1, and they are playing until the final whistle.
That says a lot about this team and their heart, as well as the coaching staff that can keep them motivated.
Yeah, and it's tough because, throughout this game, the Winthrop team has displayed there's been times when they have hung their heads, and, it's been frustrating, and that's been very clear, but play until the end here.
Well, that's the sound of the horn. And that's the sound of 10 in a row here at Spry Stadium. The Demon Deacons will continue their undefeated 2022 season. Bobby Muse goes to 119 wins.